This is how Alzheimer's disease looks like in the human brain. In brown, you can see waste accumulations called amyloid plaques. This is what is happening in the brains of 1 in 9 people older than 65 right now. That means that at least every third of you might know someone suffering from Alzheimer's. The disease is not only terrible for the patients themselves, but also for the relatives to witness the memory loss of their loved ones. To find better treatments, we need to understand how exactly the disease develops. So let me take you on a guided tour through a brain cell, which are the blue dots, and let's see what happens to it in Alzheimer's disease. You can imagine the cell as it was a city, and a long time before the first symptoms of Alzheimer's appear, there's a protein called amyloid precursor protein that is represented by the runner, and while it's moving through the cell, it leaves amyloid trash behind. In Alzheimer's disease, this amyloid trash is accumulating into huge overflowing garbage piles that finally build up the amyloid plaques we see in the brains. In the cells of a healthy brain, there is a recycling system that is taking care of the waste, including that amyloid. Our researchers could show that that recycling system is not working properly in Alzheimer's disease. So my research tries to understand how exactly the failure of the recycling system might contribute to the accumulation of that amyloid trash. To do that, I'm looking back at that amyloid precursor protein, and to see it inside the cells, I place a fluorescent color onto it, as I would place a lamp onto the runner's head. Similar to the proteins inside the cell, every runner starts running at a different time, they all have their own favorite jogging paths, they mix up, and it's really difficult to follow the path of each runner. That's why I applied a method to make them run a marathon. I gather all of the proteins in one place, and only when I give them a start signal, they start running all together, and I can clearly follow their path inside the cells. So let me show you how that looks like in reality when looking through the microscope. And that's what we can see. That are the cells with the amyloid precursor protein in yellow. And when I give the start signal, they start running and I can follow their marathon. And I think that looks absolutely beautiful and is the most fascinating part of science for me. To look through the microscope and see with my own eyes what is happening inside those cells. To answer my research question, I now do the same experiment in cells that lack the recycling system, as if they would have no garbage truck. And from those experiments, I could see that the amyloid precursor protein is taking a slightly different path, a different way inside those cells. That could then lead to the deposition of amyloid trash in unusual places. And that is what we are investigating in our research group as well. With my research, I hope to contribute a tiny piece to the puzzle of how the disease develops, and that indeed a functional recycling system might be important to prevent Alzheimer's disease. I hope that once you turn 65, we don't have to fear Alzheimer's anymore. Thank you.